Hello, everyone, and welcome to Talking Pictures. My name is Kris Rowberry. I'm the host of The Lost Parks of Northern California here on PenTV. And with me is Garett Weston Thomas, also with Peninsula Television. You're actually the production director, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, a program director, yes.
And in addition to that, you're also an independent filmmaker.
You betcha.
How many independent films have you done so far?
I would say it's in the realm of 60 independent films that I've probably been making since teenhood. So
you pretty much know what you're doing.
It's been a while. Yeah, I taught myself how to use Adobe Premiere in the 6th grade. So it's been an acquired taste that I've learned with a hands-on experience, not by the book at all. So it's the better way to learn, I think.
I would say so. I mean, same sort of thing, kind of taught everything on my own as well, and it's sort of more authentic that way, isn't it?
Indeed, you do.
So you know Oscars, you know film. So let's talk about the Oscars. It's the 87th Annual Academy Awards.
I think so.
And let's talk first about the Best Pictures.
Okay.
What's up right now for nomination?
If I can remember them all. There are 8 nominees this year, so it's Boyhood, which is the one to beat in my opinion, Birdman, The Grand Budapest Hotel, those last 2 have 9 nominations each, the most, Whiplash, Selma, American Sniper, The Theory of Everything, and The Imitation Game.
So now, why do you say that Boyhood is the front runner in your opinion?
Well, there are many reasons, but it's so unusual in that they managed to film this for like a 12-year span. So you're actually watching a boy grow up. And they got this cast and crew that were dedicated and wanted to participate for this long span of time. And, you know, nobody died off. But they have this intriguing story with Patricia Arquette and Ethan Hawke. And they're kind of divorced parents, but they want to be raising this kid despite all of that. And so you're not watching this, you know, phony baloney story. You're actually watching people interact in an intriguing way, and they're using the same cameras throughout this whole thing, so you don't see the differences in the format of the show as it's progressing. So you're not even witnessing the change in time with the technology per se. You're witnessing the scenery change and the various aspects, like whether there's different kinds of music playing in the background or things like that change. But the style and the format of the film stays consistent. And for that, the director, Richard Linklater, was brilliant. And so he's up for Best Director and Picture, and I think he's the one to beat.
And I've noticed a lot of folks don't really know what's going on in terms of the Oscars this year because there's not a lot of real front runners and there's not a lot of big names.
Yeah, there are not a lot of big studio pictures up this year. There are a lot of indie pictures. Now, I'm on both sides of the aisle for that because I'm a big indie fan, jazz hands. But
well, being an independent filmmaker, you kind of have to be, right?
Yeah, you do. But in the same respect, there were a lot of films that I did go out to watch and they're not up for Best Picture. You know, one of the films that I also liked a lot this year was Gone Girl, which is a David Fincher film. And after such great films as Seven and The Social Network that he's also behind, a lot of people were thinking that this might also have a chance. The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo is another. The sole nomination it got was for Best Actress, Rosamund Pike. Now, a lot of people might think, it's a little bit of a dark movie, it's about a psychopath, but she still earned the nomination despite all that. If you can be, somewhat of a devoted David Fincher cult fan, if you want to call it that, she still might win it. I know she's up against people like Julianne Moore. She's on her 5th nomination for Still Alice, but nobody's heard of Still Alice. Who's heard about that? So if people are devoted enough in the Academy to go witness that movie, they might give it to her. She's way overdue. The other person that might have a shot is Reese Witherspoon for Wild. She is a previous winner, though, so do they want to give her a second nod again? Who knows? But I think Rosamund Pike's the one to beat.
So now, the whole trend of indie, is it becoming now a trend, or is it just sort of one of those anomaly type years with the Academy that no real blockbuster came through as being decent enough? Because we see so many sequels now, to the point that this indie one is just sort of a blip on the radar as opposed to an actual pattern.
It's hard to say, because there were, a lot of sequels, triquels, God have you put out this past year, you know, whether it be all these animated CGI flicks. You had the final Hobbit put out, which in itself was, I don't even want to put it out there, but the Hobbit itself was a single book, yet they milked it into 3 movies.
Which is the way in Hollywood, right?
Yeah, kind of, sort of. They're just making as much money as they can. Maybe it's a good movie. Maybe we need to get on the bandwagon. But somehow that was not one of the pieces that they chose to laud with a whole bunch of nominations. I believe it just got one of the sound nominations.
And it
didn't even get a visual effects nomination for the first time ever.
Yeah.
For any of the work of Peter Jackson. So I think they instead were choosing to reward the smaller films. But there was no big picture this year like Gravity last year that really was reaching out like last year.
So let's talk about now, because we've gone through the pictures, let's talk about actors and actresses. You kind of touched on actress already.
Right.
Let's start with actors. Who's in your opinion, and who has an outside chance?
I would say the one to beat is definitely Michael Keaton for Birdman. I saw that just this past weekend. And he's absolutely fantastic. I think the way they filmed that movie, directed by Alejandro González Iñárritu, if I said that correctly, they filmed it in such a way that it seems like it's all entirely one take. So that in itself is fantastic. The cinematographer himself is also the same one from Gravity. So the cinematographer kind of knows something. But it's kind of based upon a theatrical background. So I think they were trying to really give it the theatrical feel from behind the scenes. So something like that is not a movie to begin with anyway. And so they really wanted to make it feel something like it's live happening right now. They also had a good supporting cast with like Emma Stone, Edward Norton. And it was just very, very amusing. But his past, Michael Keaton's character's past, he previously was a superhero in the TV world, and so he's trying to make one last shot at becoming famous again. And so I think it'd be amusing if he wins the Oscar this year. He could make it seem like anybody who's played Batman is going to win the Oscar all the time. So, you know, we've had Christian Bale, George Clooney, Ben Affleck, even he's going to be playing Batman, I hear, in an upcoming film. So I think we have to start watching Val Kilmer if he's going to win something in the future.
Well, he's going to have to catch up pretty quickly here compared to Clooney and Keaton.
Yeah,
there.
you just got to make something worthwhile. It's possible.
Let's take a quick look now at supporting actors and actresses.
Okay.
What do you see there?
That one, I think, I'm really hoping that Patricia Arquette wins for Boyhood. I think she's unquestionably going to win for that because she devoted so much time to that. I think there are a few other actresses that are, you know, in the category. You know, it's almost inevitable that Meryl Streep always has a nomination.
Well, she's that good too.
Well, she is that good. She has such a huge range of it. But she was in a good movie that I enjoyed just because it was based on something that I had to view in high school, Into the Woods. I viewed it for my AP English class in Mr. Hill's class. So there's a shout out to you, my high school teacher. But I was much more satisfied than I thought I would be because it was a Disney-fied musical. I was hoping they would not really tone it down very much, and I was surprised they didn't. And I think if it wasn't for director Rob Marshall, they could have made a terrible version of it. So they did a pretty good job. There are a few elements that they toned down a slight bit, like the narrator wasn't a character anymore because it was previously on Broadway, so they did away with that. But beyond that, they did an okay job. But beyond that, it was pretty good.
Wonderful. Well, unfortunately, that's all the time we've got for this. Thank you so much for joining us, Garett. We appreciate it. And of course, we'll see you at the movies.